Hello, everybody. It's great to be here once again. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate your time as always. And I say it a million times, and I mean it every time. I am grateful and I am thankful for every moment that you take to watch. I am extremely blessed and grateful for that. As you know, I've shifted gears a little bit. I was working on 1611 and 2025, trying to get that information out there, which I will still do. But of late, not only by request, but it's been weighing on me to go in the direction of Westcott and Hort and looking at these scriptures and the different verses that I think that are kind of important and how they change them. I think it's kind of forgotten that Westcott and Hort have had a very profound influence on the modern Bibles today. Now, I keep this as simple as possible because I'm not a brilliant man. I'm no theologian or anything like that. But I like to keep things as simple as possible. There are men who are smarter than I, who can get into the weeds and deeper onto things, and they do a wonderful job on it. Um, Even men who are more long-winded than I am. I know that may be hard to believe sometimes, but there are people who talk even more than I do. And I mean that with all respect and love to the brothers out there who have much longer videos. Um, but I think this is important. I talked to my wife one time and she says, people don't know what you think they know. I was like, how can they not know? I mean, if they're, well versed in these things, and if they've studied these things, how do they not know? And they don't know. I don't know why it is, but to me, call it conspiracy. I'm a conspiracy theorist, I guess. Um, I am a King James only by the fact that I am a King James Bible reader, and I always lean towards that. So I am immediately, absolutely thrown into a club or a group, which is fine. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Um, be that as it may. But I think it's important to go down these roads and understand the influence of not only, I mean, you can get into Westcott where a lot of people understand who they are, and the Catholic Church infiltrating the Anglican Church and the Oxford movement and so forth and so on. But I want to keep this as simple as possible. This is my contribution of to this, and other people have their contribution. And as a body of Christ, we all play a part in bringing it in different levels. This might appeal to some people and be helpful in understanding it and being edified by it. And for others, they want something different that says the same thing but is different, and it works for them. But that's the great beauty of the body of Christ. Those true believers, they are able to take a different angle at it and get the same truth basically out. All right, enough of me monologuing here and going on and on and on. Let's get right to it. Today we're going to be talking about Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. I think we got a pretty good size up there. So as you can see, I've actually titled it The Influence of Westcott Hort on Modern Bibles. Now, in the original King James, well, I shouldn't say that. That is the King James, 1611. Obviously, spelling is different. Says the same thing. In the King James Bible, it reads, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you." Now, as we continue, well, I'm going to wipe my glasses first of all, got a little smudge there. As we continue, we're going to see that there are things taken out of here. Bless them that curse you is gone, just in the wind, as they say. Just suddenly it doesn't exist. Uh, and do good to them that hate you, gone. So, why is that? Westcott and Hort always goes there. Yes, we can talk about Tischendorf. We can talk about Lockman. We could talk about the word I'm looking for here, Tregelles. We can go to that degree, and other men will do that because they're very good at that. But this is the surface, I think, of understanding these things. All right, we get to the Revised Version, 1881. As a lot of you know that do subscribe to my channel, follow me over the while or the years or whatever. I do have that right here. It's an 1881, so I'm a big fan of paper because of the fact that Bible software can be infiltrated, it can be changed, and so therefore, for me personally, I'm a big fan of paper. Any Bible that I get my hands on, from that time frame so I can match them and look at them, I do so. Um, I'm not saying you're a bad person because you use software, but as we discussed on Matthew 1 25, we saw something different, didn't we? We saw in the paper copies, it said there was a word in there that was not in on the internet, completely different. I'm just saying it can happen. It happened on a King James word, and I'm not going to keep going on that because I can't remember what it was a long time ago. But, anyways, let's keep going here. Revised Version 1881 says, "But I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you." Again, gone is blessed them that curse you. Do good them to them that hate you. Yeah. All right, now we move on to the Darby Bible, which uses Westcott Hort, Tregelles, and Tischendorf. So they have a mixture here. But here it reads, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who insult you and persecute you." Here's where we already see, in my opinion, nefarious activity here. I can't help it. That's who I am. That's what I see. When I see Westcott Hort, Tregelles, and Tischendorf as the foundation of the Greek text that the Darby Bible used in 1890, but I see Revised Version, who also uses the Westcott Hort as the foundation, not matching completely up at all. Already 9 years after 1881 to 1890, we see that in effect. And from my understanding and my research, and I could be wrong, when I look up the Greek in Tregelles and Tischendorf, and when I match that up along Westcott Hort, and I match that up in translation, I'm not no Greek scholar. So let me just get that out right now. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not good at that kind of thing. But what I did find is it does match the 1881 almost word for word. So why change it in Darby Bible? See, they already, because they do know the truth. And somehow it got through on the Darby Bible. Maybe that's why the Darby Bible didn't last so long. You get into 1901. Now we move on a decade here. It says, "But I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you." Matching up perfectly with Westcott and Hort. Now we move on to the Emphasized Bible in 1902. We are going to skip the 20th century New Testament Bible. That's a different one. That's based on Westcott and Hort. I did not put that in here. I could have, but I didn't. That was written by, I think, a woman named Mary Briggs. I could be wrong on the name, so please don't quote me on that one. All right, the Emphasized Bible 1902 says, "But I say unto you, be loving your enemies." Be loving your enemies and praying for them who are persecuting you. Well, it doesn't match at all, does it? Again, the Emphasized Bible also is supposed to be using the Greek text of Westcott and Hort. That's the foundation, and yet that doesn't match. Already we see them not matching right off the bat. We're in the early 1900s, 20 years removed. Is it 20 years removed? Yeah, 1881, 20 years removed, and we're not matching up. 9 years removed, we weren't matching up completely from the Westcott and Hort. But they use that as the foundation of their Greek text. So they just keep on changing it. It's an ever-changing thing. Kind of. All right. We move on to the next one. The Revised Standard Version, the RSV 1946, also uses Westcott and Hort and Nestle Allen as the basic foundation of their Greek text. "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Again, matching up pretty well there with the Westcott and Hort, and that's, again, we are 50 years removed and still running that same line, roughly 50 years, 60 years, whatever it is. 55 years. No, 65, whatever. You do the math. I don't have time for math. I'm just kidding. Bible in Basic English. So this comes from the Westcott Hort tree. In the modern English, what they've done is they've taken the foundation of Westcott Hort, because you can pretty much see it there. I mean, you analyze it and break it down, you can see how closely it resembles it, because you're not seeing anything with the TRR, no Text Receptus or anything like that, no Stephanus or Beza, no Scribner or anything like that. "But I say to you, have love for those who are against you and make prayer for those who are cruel to you." So what they've done here is they've used a condensed dictionary almost. They've taken a small amount of English words to use to create this version, but you can see it still matches basically up with Westcott Hort. All right, unprofessional drink of the well water in my mason jar because, well, if you're in the South, you drink from a mason jar. All right, not everybody does. Now you have the New World Translation, Jehovah's Witness, 1950. They also they have supposedly some other text, but their basic foundation again is the Westcott Hort. And here it says, "However, I say to you, continue to love your enemies and to pray for those persecuting you." I got to emphasize that. It's in bold print. So apparently, I don't know if they're emphasizing or yelling it, but so again, if your foundation is Westcott and Hort, how does it not match? I know the King James of 1611 to now still matches. Amplified 1965, also Westcott, Hort, and Nestle and Allen. We throw Nestle and Allen in here because we know Nestle and Allen's, Eberhard Nestle's, well, that was his first name, uses or relies on Westcott and Hort and Tischendorf, and they use that and kind of mingle it in with their Greek. But here it says, "But I say to you, love that is unselfishly seek the best or higher good for you, your enemies, and pray for those who persecute you." I don't even know what in the world that means. To me, that's incoherent, but that's based on Westcott Hort. You see a trend. It all really doesn't match perfectly, but it does in a small way. It kind of runs along. They change a few things here and there. And I don't know if that's because of the copyright. I think it was 1904, and I could be wrong on that. You can leave it in the comments. By the way, if there are other partial texts, New Testaments, that I'm not aware of or haven't gone to, because I'm just trying to use the basic ones that a lot of people know or more popular ones, so to speak. That's what I'm... Anyway, pray for this Brisky. All right, now this is fun. Now we get to the Revised Standard Version, Catholic version, 1965. Westcott Hort, Nestle Allen. It's a Catholic version, though. What I didn't throw in here is the NRSV, which I do have up there. I do have the Amplified. I do have the RSV. While we're going through these, I was talking about paper copy earlier. I do have the New World Translation. I do not have the Bible Basic. I do have the Revised Standard Version of 1946, actually. I do have that first one. American Standard Version, I do have that. Emphasized Bible, I do have that. Darby, I do not. The Revised Version, I do. So some of these I have and some of them I don't. The RSV Catholic Version, I don't have the RSV Catholic Version. So I did go on the internet to check that out, see what that has. So I did use the internet for that, but it does match up because I do have the NRSV, so that matches up. All right, now we move on to the New American Bible, 1970, which I do have that as well. Now that relies on the Nestle Allen and WH. Yeah, I changed a little bit because now they talk about we rely on only Nestle Allen to kind of distance himself from Westcott Hort, but again, based on the Westcott Hort. "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Still matches. 1970, what are we, 89 years into this now? They're running that Westcott Hort train, I'll tell you that right now. All right, New American Bible, Living Bible, 1971, which I just actually purchased at a tag sale or yard sale, whatever you want to call it, down yonder, about 2 towns down from me. They run a big street long tag sale, and so $2. I got that for $2, 1971. "But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you." Again, still matching the Westcott Hort, well, Nestle Allen, which matches the Westcott Hort. Let's move on to the New American Standard Bible, 1973. That also I do have over there. Nestle Allen, Westcott, and Hort, still. "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." See? Still running the same thing. Same thing. But they found all these new versions, right? They found all these different scraps of paper and changed things, which don't change as much as you think they change, in my opinion, when you look at them. And again, I'm no expert in this stuff. I just peruse through these things time to time. Who's good at going through that? Is a guy named Nick Sayers, Brother Nick. I'm just going to call him Brother Nick over there at Revolution. He's got a YouTube channel called At Revolution. He dives into some of these things. Um, he's well, I guess I'm an acquired taste like the drink Moxie that used to exist up in the Northeast, but he's an acquired taste. He talked for a long time. He makes me look like a silent film, and I mean that with all love and respect. I actually like Brother Nick very much so, but he can go for hours, and he'll just go in all different directions, but somehow they still converge into one spot. But he does a great job on a lot of that stuff, so I would check out his channel. Um, I think I don't want to get the wrong guy. Is it Truth in Christ? I don't know who the other guy is, but they deal with numbers and stuff like that. Kind of. It's maybe it's not truth. I don't know. You know what? I can't tell you to watch somebody. I don't like to promote people very much. It's not my thing because, as you well know, you go and promote somebody, and then you're like, oh, they're not anywhere near. And not because some guys might be trying very well, trying to do something, and they're doing their best, and then there's nothing wrong with that. Like myself, I'm not great at this. I'm not perfect, but people try their best, and that's what it's great in the body of Christ. We all bring something different to the table or a different view of the same thing, but still on the same page. As well, we should be. At least in the same book would be nice, right? Same chapter, yeah, maybe. But so him at this point in time, yeah. Again, I will put aside some time to watch him or listen to him, but he does have some excellent stuff in there. Um, I feel like I'm putting the guy down, but I'm not. I think he's very good. All right, New American Standard Bible, 1973. We just talked about it. Now, New International Version. It says 1978 here, and I have to apologize for that. I didn't mean to fib, but I don't have the 1978. That was the full version. The first time it was both New Testament and Old Testament. What I had meant to put in was 1976 because that's the one I have, and you could tell it's from 1976 because come on, that whole picture is screaming 1970s right there. So that was what I have, the 76. I accidentally put 78, so I do apologize for that. I also have the 84, which is over there, the 2011, which is here, which was my mother's last Bible that she had before she passed away. So that's the last one that's the last one that I know of because somehow that ended up to me. I don't know how it got to me, but it got to me. I don't know how. I just somehow was in my stuff and I don't know how it got there. Let's see. And they're running off of Nestle Allen, Westcott Hort, and Tischendorf by their own admission. So, and here it says, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Yeah. Side note on the NIV here, or even the Nestle Allen. A lot of people don't realize. I don't think, anyways. They always talk about what's his name, Father Carlo Martini or Martin or something like that, which was a Jesuit priest and stuff like that. And people will say, "Oh, well, that's it. We had one priest, and well, sorry about that, and we made a mistake." Well, if you look at the new one, Nestle, they had another Jesuit priest on there who also passed away, but he's dead also. But yeah, no surprise there, is it? Who do you think infiltrated this all? Anyways, all right. But here it reads, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Let's go back. Can we go all the way back? Let's go all the way back. I'm gonna look it over here because boy, this mic. I'm gonna have to move my computer screens. All right, let's go all the way back, all the way to 1881. "But I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you." Now let's roll all the way back down to where are we now? NIV, where are you? 1978. "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Still running that same verse, missing some words. All right, now we have the easy to read version in 1989, which I do not have. I don't have that, but I had to look that up. And so I'm just admitting to you, I did look at software online to find that one. I don't have that version. So if I ever get my hands on it, I'll be reading it. But I tell you, love your enemies, pray for those who treat you badly. Okay, we're still running on Nestle and Allen and Westcott and Hort. Yes, I know we've had different editions. So now we know that the editions can't even match each other. So which edition do we believe? Which Bible do we believe? I'm still believing the same Bible from 1611. And basically, you could even say a little bit of Geneva too, because it matches a lot there. There's a couple of word differences and different things there, but still the same thing. Not really changed. We're going to roll on to the Revised English Bible, 1989. I do have that. I did not put the New English Bible on here for some reason, but after that, I also have that. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Still running. Nestle Allen, Westcott, still running Westcott and Hort. New Living Translation, 1996. I do have that up there. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Woo, still matching that Westcott and Hort, huh? At least the King James stayed the King James, right? The 1611 to now, it's pretty much stayed the same. Yeah, I know we talked about, well, it's slightly changed in this version, and or 17 this, and there was a little change. I'm not going to get all that. Some people want to, that's fine. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Now we get to the ever so popular ESV. Now this has even infiltrated Baptist churches down there. Well, the Southern Baptists, not your Southern Baptist old folks in small churches. I mean Southern Baptist, the SBC, Rick Warren type of people. Again, I made that video that that I got fired by an ESV boss. He's a big ESV guy, goes to a mega church, and he's completely worldly. Amazingly so. I think I told the story, but I have a local coin guy. I'm going off a little bit here, but I go to a coin guy, and my son likes to collect the Mercury dimes, and we get a little bit of stuff there once in a while. Once a week actually. We go there every Saturday, go in, maybe buy a little something, and I remember talking to the guy. He goes, "Oh yeah, I know who that is. Who you work with? I know who your boss is. Known him for years. Got to be going 20 plus years." I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know that." Yeah. And I told him what happened. Oh, really? Wow. And I says, "Yeah." I said, "I was pretty surprised. He calls himself a Christian." And he looks at me and basically says, "I didn't know he was a Christian." All I'm saying is that's the fruit of an ESV, isn't it? All right, English Standard Version 2001, Nestle Allens and Westcott and Hort. But I tell you, love your enemies. Pray for those who treat you badly. Wait a second. Why is it badly now all of a sudden? Not persecute you, badly. Let's go back a little bit here. Well, it matches the easy to read version, 1989. Isn't that something? Isn't that nice? All right, let's go on to Legacy Standard Bible. That's where we finish off. Well, what am I, about 23 minutes in? Sorry about that. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who treat you badly. Again, we have the treat you badly. Hold on one second. I had to sneeze. I apologize. Again, Nestle Allen, Westcott, and Hort is the basis of this. They say they changed a few things, but they're still running the same thing. Now, don't you find it a little odd that we could be running Nestle Allen, Westcott, but the scripture keeps changing all through it? You don't see that with the Texas Receptus. You don't see that happening there, but you see with all these things. They're from Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Vaticanus and what? Codex Alexandrius or which one am I thinking of? I forget which one. I think it's hilarious when the King James Bible is considered, oh, well, that's government. You're following a government. You're following a king and government. Well, is it not the government of Russia? What was it, Tsar the Third or Tsar Nicholas the Third? I can't remember. Isn't he the one who paid for and funded? Now, this is a monarchy, royalty, but basically the government funded the trip of Tischendorf in 1859 to go back to the monastery, which they happened to find these manuscripts and so forth. So, and even for that, I think there's some Armenian Catholics who also went to that same monastery and happened to find some text there. That's interesting. And this lady here who wrote this 20th century New Testament, she was also funded, but not by government. She was funded by some guy. I want to say his last name is Phillips. I shouldn't be naming names yet until I make sure I got the right name. Who, same thing, went to where? That same monastery. Makes me wonder what's going on there. What's going on? I just think it's an interesting place, and things are really strange that come out of that place. It's Catholics. That's all it is. It's a Roman Catholic Church. At the end of the day, sorry, that's where I'm at. That's how I feel. But we go all the way back. We're at right now. What? But I tell you, love your enemies, pray for those who treat you badly, and then you go way back. And well, the last one says persecute you would have been here. The New Living Translation 96, but go all the way back. Let's scroll all the way back. That's 2021. That's let's see, 100, what, 140 years? 140 years, other than badly, it still basically says the same thing, and it leaves out. It leaves out bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. Gone. Or even despitefully use you. Gone. But I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you. Go all the way down. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who treat you badly. Now it's badly, not persecute. I guess this was almost a half an hour, and I didn't plan on it being a half an hour, but I appreciate your time watching this. I hope this was edifying in any way. I hope in any way, shape, or form that this has been helpful. Just missed myself. Where did I go? There I am. This is my small contribution to the matter. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a textual critic. I'm not an expert in these things. But what I am is someone who loves to research this. I know some people don't have the time. Some people do. But I think it's getting to be more and more important for these things because as the world is getting louder, Bible-believing Christians are getting quieter. And I think we can't afford to do that. All right. I appreciate your time as always. I'm going to awkwardly hit the end recording button over here. So hopefully the recording worked out okay. I just looked at my mic hoping that it was actually not mute. I've done that before. I've actually had it mute for like 10, 15 minutes, not known it. All right. With that, I say God bless and have a wonderful day.